Welcome to another journey through literature. Today we're embarking on a really focused exploration into a truly pivotal chapter of Robert Louis Stevenson's enduring classic, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Our journey takes us to chapter 7, aptly titled Incident at the Window. Now, it's a section that, despite its surprising brevity, is, I think, profoundly impactful. Our mission today is to really unpack its immense contribution to the novel as a whole, meticulously examining key aspects like character psychology, the rich social and historical context of the Victorian era, Stevenson's brilliant narrative choices, and of course the powerful symbolism woven throughout this chilling encounter. We'll be looking at how this singular incident fundamentally shifts our understanding and, propels the entire narrative forward.
That's right. Chapter 7 stands as an absolutely crucial turning point. I mean, really crucial. It's the moment where those hidden truths, those unseen horrors we've only previously glimpsed or, hinted at, finally begin to breach the surface. And they challenge not only the character's understanding, but also our own perception, yours too, of what is truly possible within the rigid confines of the Victorian world. This chapter isn't just another piece of the puzzle, it's a vital, visceral one. It dramatically escalates both the pervasive mystery and that palpable tension that has been building. It's the first undeniable crack in the facade, really.
Okay, let's maybe set the scene for you. Before we dive into the incident at the window, let's quickly recap where we left off, because the tension has been mounting, hasn't it? If you recall Chapter 6, Remarkable Incident of Dr. Lanyon, we saw Mr. Utterson grappling with the unsettling illness and eventual tragic death of his old friend, Dr. Lanyon.
A really disturbing sequence.
Yeah, and Lanyon, in his final days, was a man consumed by a profound, almost inexplicable horror. His pronouncements about Dr. Jekyll were laced with bitterness and a clear, deranged distress, all stemming from something profoundly disturbing related to Jekyll.
Well, something you witnessed, yeah.
Exactly. And then there was that mysterious sealed letter he left for Mr. Utterson with explicit instructions that it was only to be opened upon Jekyll's death or disappearance. Very dramatic.
And that letter, coupled with Lanyon's terrified state, it immediately deepened the enigma surrounding Jekyll, didn't it? It suggested a secret so terrible it literally broke a man's spirit, maybe even his mind. Subsequently, Jekyll retreated into this extreme reclusiveness, refusing visitors, shutting himself away, essentially disappearing from public life.
Which is completely out of character for the sociable Dr. Jekyll we thought we knew.
Totally. And this behavior, of course, only fueled the growing, pervasive sense that Jekyll was in deep, deep trouble, perhaps even dangerous. The stakes weren't just rising, they were becoming terrifyingly personal for Utterson. Lanyon's death, shrouded in this mystery, leaves Utterson without his closest confidant in understanding Jekyll, It forces him to confront the unknown largely on his own.
Absolutely. And with Chapter 7, Stevenson brings those previously unseen horrors directly into the foreground, even if it's just for a fleeting, horrifying glimpse. This chapter serves as a stark, visual confirmation of the profound deterioration Jekyll has undergone. So the central question for us becomes, what shocking revelation awaits Mr. Utterson and Mr. Enfield during their seemingly routine Sunday walk? And maybe more importantly, what does this brief but utterly traumatizing incident at the window truly signify for Dr. Jekyll's increasingly desperate state and the rapidly unfolding narrative?
It's a moment that changes everything for the witnesses and for us as readers, because it provides this visceral, albeit inexplicable, evidence of Jekyll's profound suffering and transformation. It's no longer just a rumor or a cryptic letter. It's seen.
It's seen, exactly.
That's precisely it. This incident moves the mystery from the abstract, the stuff of gossip and letters, to the concretely unsettling. Even if the full truth remains obscured, it pushes Utterson's rational mind right to its limit.
Okay, so as we delve into the analysis, we begin, as so many things do in this novel, with a familiar routine and that endlessly unsettling door. The scene opens with Mr. Utterson and Mr. Enfield engaging in their customary Sunday walk. And this isn't just a casual stroll, it's a deeply ingrained ritual, isn't it? A symbol of stability and order in a world that, for our characters, is becoming increasingly chaotic and unpredictable. It's like a bastion of their Victorian normalcy.
Their anchor.
As they walk, they once again pass the infamous blackmail door. That neglected, sinister-looking entrance to Jekyll's laboratory, which was first introduced right back in Chapter 1. It's almost a full-circle moment, bringing us back to where the mystery truly began, in a way.
Indeed, and this routine walk itself is just laden with social and historical context. It perfectly encapsulates the Victorian gentleman's adherence to social norms, their rigid decorum, and their, overwhelming desire for public order and respectability. Their lives were meticulously structured, predictable, a carefully constructed facade designed to ward off any hint of impropriety or chaos.
Right. Keep up appearances at all costs.
Exactly. Think of the London of Stevenson's time. You had grand public squares, respectable townhouses, but just around the corner, often hidden in the back alleys, were, squalid dens of vice, opium dens, or secret passages leading to less savory establishments. The city itself was a study in duality.
That's a fascinating point about the physical landscape reflecting the societal one. It really was two cities in one.
Precisely. And the black male door, positioned right there in this respectable neighborhood, consistently disrupts this very facade. It doesn't just represent Jekyll's hidden, sordid underbelly. It's a potent symbol of respectable London's own secrets and transgressions. All those things that Victorian society desperately tried to repress and conceal. It's a physical manifestation of what is considered, well, grotesque or unnatural, something to be suppressed.
And the name itself, blackmail door.
Right. The term blackmail itself carries connotations of hidden shame, of secrets that could ruin a man's reputation. It implies a forced complicity, a knowing silence that is deeply unsettling. The fact that this door exists, neglected yet apparently accepted, on a respectable street, speaks volumes about the societal hypocrisy Stevenson critiques. It's not just a physical barrier, it's a psychological one, separating the orderly public face from the chaotic private truth. This door isn't just a place. It's almost a character in itself, silently bearing witness to the unacknowledged darkness of the era.
It's a brilliant narrative choice, isn't it? The author returns to this familiar setting, not just for recognition, but to emphasize the cyclical nature of the mystery that has plagued Utterson from the start. It's a place steeped in Hyde's initial brutality and his elusive appearances. This return also serves to heighten the contrast between their ordinary, almost mundane routine, their quiet Sunday stroll, and the extraordinary horror that is about to unfold.
It creates a false sense of security.
Totally. It lulls you into a false sense of security, doesn't it? Almost like, oh, here we are again, just a normal Sunday, right before the profound disruption of everything they thought they knew. It sets the stage by bringing us back to the source of the mystery, preparing us for its escalation.
Indeed. And that disruption comes through the window itself, a very significant window. As the two men pass Jekyll's house, they notice an open window, which is an unusual sight, given Jekyll's recent reclusiveness. He has effectively walled himself off from the world. Drawn by perhaps a glimmer of hope for their friend, a sliver of normalcy maybe, they venture into the courtyard.
Just wanting to see their friend again.
Exactly. And what's particularly fascinating here is Stevenson's use of the window. It's not just a literal opening into a room. It serves as a powerful symbolic barrier that Jekyll has seemingly pulled shut against the world, isolating himself from society and from his friends, and perhaps even from himself, from the Jekyll part of him. Yet, for this brief, agonizing moment, it offers a shocking look into his private torment, a crack in his self-imposed prison. It's a moment of terrifying suggestiveness, where the unspoken is far louder than words.
And what a look it is. Stevenson describes Jekyll's appearance as pale and sickly, reflecting his severe physical and mental deterioration. When I read that, it struck me just how far he's fallen. Not just physically, but morally and psychologically, too. How do you see that physical deterioration reflecting his internal state at this point? It's more than just an illness, isn't it? It feels deeper.
Oh, it's absolutely more than just an illness. His pale and sickly appearance is a direct outward manifestation of profound internal suffering. It's a visible sign of his body failing under the strain of his monstrous secret and the continuous battle for his soul. It speaks to those Victorian anxieties about degeneration, a popular scientific and social theory of the time. This idea suggested individuals could regress to a more primitive, less civilized state due to moral failings, disease, or, inherited traits. Jekyll's physical decay is a literal degeneration, signaling his loss of control, not just over Hyde, but over his own physical and mental well-being. He's literally wasting away.
And Stevenson uses that incredibly powerful simile, doesn't he? He describes Jekyll seated like some disconsolate prisoner.
Yes, that simile is critical. It conveys his self-imposed imprisonment, but not by, actual external bars. He is a prisoner of his own making, trapped by his own monstrous creation, Hyde, and the horrific consequences of his experiments. He's become a captive of his dual nature, a prisoner within his own home, but more devastatingly, within his own mind and body. This imagery isn't merely descriptive, it's deeply symbolic of his complete loss of agency and his profound despair.
He's trapped.
Utterly trapped. He yearns for release, but the prison, in this case, is his own making, an inescapable torment. And when Utterson, with his characteristic formality, asks how he is, Jekyll's reply is just profoundly despondent. He states he feels very low and then chillingly adds, "It will not last long, thank God."
That line, "it will not last long, thank God," always sends a shiver down my spine. It reveals such profound despair, doesn't it? A desperate longing for the end, hinting at his complete loss of control over his dual nature. He's trapped and he knows it, and he sees death as the only escape. It's a moment where his human side, the Dr. Jekyll we thought we knew, is truly at its breaking point.
Precisely. That phrase isn't just about physical illness. It's a cry of spiritual and existential exhaustion. It suggests a man so utterly overwhelmed by his creation, so terrified of what he has become and what he might yet do, that he actively anticipates and even welcomes his own demise. This is where Stevenson delves deep into Jekyll's psychology. The motivations behind his initial experiments were perhaps noble, a desire to separate man's dual nature. But the consequences have led him to a place of utter nihilism. He's no longer seeking control or even understanding. He's merely enduring, waiting for the inevitable.
And the thank God part.
Yeah, the thank God implies a sense of relief that the torment will eventually cease, suggesting a profound internal surrender. It's deeply sad.
And Utterson, bless him, ever the loyal friend, responds with such compassion, urging Jekyll to get out, whipping up the circulation. It's the typical Victorian rational response to what he perceives as, well, a mere illness or perhaps a melancholic disposition, isn't it?
Very much so. Get some fresh air, old boy.
Exactly. He's trying to apply a conventional, common-sense solution to something that is far, far beyond his current understanding. It starkly contrasts with the unspeakable, supernatural truth that's lurking just beneath the surface. He simply can't fathom the true horror, can he? He's clinging to the familiar remedies for a problem that is anything but familiar.
And that inability to fathom is about to be brutally challenged. This is where Stevenson crafts one of the most chilling moments in the novel. The narrative details a sudden, horrifying shift in Jekyll's demeanor. It's the pivotal moment of the chapter, the visual climax. Jekyll's smile is abruptly struck out of his face and replaced by an expression of abject terror and despair. This isn't just sadness or a grimace, it's a raw, primal fear, a look of pure, unadulterated horror, a transformation that transcends mere emotion.
What's so incredibly effective here is Stevenson's deliberate narrative choice to not explicitly describe the full transformation. We don't see Hyde emerging, we don't get a grotesque physical description of the shift. Instead, the horror is conveyed entirely through the reaction of Utterson and Enfield and the sheer brevity of the moment. Why do you think that's so much more impactful than a graphic description would have been?
Oh, it's a masterful stroke of Gothic literature, really.
Yeah.
It's classic suggestive horror. By choosing not to show us the monstrous shift directly, Stevenson leverages the power of suggestion and, the reader's own imagination. And our imagination can often conjure a horror far more profound than any explicit description could possibly achieve. We fill in the blanks with our worst fears.
Right. What we imagine is always scarier.
Exactly. We are forced to infer the unspeakable from the witness's reactions. This limited perspective, experienced through the eyes of Utterson and Enfield, also reinforces their constrained understanding. They don't grasp the scientific or supernatural explanation yet. They only see a glimpse of pure, distilled terror on the face of their friend. It's a moment of terrifying ambiguity that is far more unsettling than clarity would be. And the sheer brevity of the moment also amplifies its shock. It's a flash, an almost subliminal horror that leaves a lasting impression precisely because it's so fleeting and unexplained.
Precisely. And the symbolism and imagery Stevenson uses solidify this terror, making it palpable even without full detail. The sight froze the very blood of the two gentlemen. Now, this isn't a literal freezing, of course.
No, thankfully.
But it's a visceral expression of profound, inexplicable shock and terror, a kind of primal dread that utterly transcends their rational Victorian minds. It's the physiological manifestation of extreme fear, isn't it? A moment where their bodies react before their minds can even begin to process what they've witnessed. The tone dramatically shifts in that instant from one of sympathetic concern to one of sheer, unadulterated fright. It's a jolt to the reader, a chilling confirmation that something truly unnatural is at play.
Yes, that imagery of frozen blood emphasizes the paralyzing effect of the horror. It's an ancient, primal fear that bypasses intellect altogether. It signifies a moment where the natural order, as they know it, has been fundamentally violated right before their eyes. It's a terror that leaves them inert, unable to move or speak, utterly captivated by the enormity of what they've seen, or rather, what they think they've seen.
And the immediate aftermath of this terrifying glimpse is equally impactful, almost violent in its symbolic weight. Jekyll, with a dismal screech, slams the window shut. Now, this physical action isn't just closing a window, it powerfully symbolizes Jekyll's final, desperate attempt to sever his connection with the outside world, doesn't it? To recontain the monster he's become, or perhaps just to hide the monstrous reality from his friends to protect them from the horror.
It could be both.
Yeah, it's a violent act of self-seclusion, a desperate retreat back into his isolated torment, slamming shut the last visible link to his respectable life. It feels like the desperate struggle of the human side of Jekyll trying to maintain some semblance of control over the emerging Hyde, even if that control means cutting himself off entirely.
And that violent act of self-seclusion leads directly into the unspoken horror and shared silence that follows, which is arguably one of the most powerful and insightful moments of the chapter regarding character psychology and social context. Utterson's chilling exclamation, "God forgive us, God forgive us," that isn't merely a sign of surprise or shock. It's far deeper.
It really lands heavily.
It does. It's a profound plea for divine mercy, reflecting the deeply unsettling, almost blasphemous nature of what they've witnessed. It's an event that defies natural law, challenges the very foundations of their scientific understanding, and utterly shatters Victorian morality and their worldview. For a deeply religious society, to see something so fundamentally wrong, so unnatural, implies a transgression against God himself. That's the level of horror they're experiencing.
That's a crucial distinction. It's not just, oh my goodness, it's a spiritual plea, a sense of having witnessed something profoundly unholy. The profound impact on both Utterson and Enfield is evident in their subsequent actions, or rather, their lack thereof. They continue their walk in silence, and Enfield's mere nod in response to Utterson's desperate plea signifies the unspeakable quality of the event.
The silence speaks volumes.
It really does. It's an experience so horrific and incomprehensible that it completely silences their customary polite conversation and shared gossip. It forces them into a shared traumatic understanding that simply cannot be articulated through words. They are, for a moment, completely stripped of their Victorian composure, stripped of their usual social scripts. It's raw.
And this shared silence is deeply connected to Victorian society's pervasive theme of repression and secrecy. You see it everywhere in the novel. The inability to articulate the horror they've just witnessed highlights the immense societal pressure to maintain appearances and suppress anything deemed grotesque or unnatural. Imagine the social cost of acknowledging something so fundamentally unnatural and blasphemous. It would shatter their entire worldview, where science was meant to progress, not regress, and where public decorum was everything.
They wouldn't know how to talk about it even if they wanted to.
Exactly. So the silence becomes its own form of protection, a desperate attempt to shove the monstrous back into the shadows where it belongs. It speaks to the terror of acknowledging something that cannot be neatly categorized or explained by their rational, scientific, or religious frameworks. It's a collective trauma that forces them into an involuntary pact of silence, a tacit agreement not to speak of the unspeakable. This repression isn't just personal, it's deeply societal, reflecting a culture that preferred to ignore its ugliness rather than confront it head-on.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, what does this all mean for the novel as a whole? This chapter 7 serves as an absolutely crucial escalation point in the novel's rising action, no question. It moves far beyond the persistent rumors of Hyde's brutality, the unsettling details in Jekyll's will, and Dr. Lanyon's cryptic dying pronouncements. Here, for the first time, we get direct, albeit partial, visual evidence of Jekyll's terrifying secret. It's a shift from abstract dread to visceral horror.
Precisely. For Utterson, it confirms with undeniable force that Jekyll's problem is far more profound than simple blackmail or a mere illness or even some kind of eccentric scientific pursuit. It's something supernatural, something that defies the laws of nature as he knows them. This cements the supernatural element that Lanyon hinted at and Utterson previously, tried to rationalize away or dismiss. It makes it undeniably real for him.
He can't ignore it anymore.
No. This realization propels the narrative toward the inevitable climax and the full, horrifying revelation. Utterson can no longer rationalize or ignore. The incident at the window shatters his complacency and forces him to confront the dark, inexplicable truth about his friend. It pushes him closer to a desperate, active pursuit of the truth, even if it means confronting the monstrous directly. It's a point of no return for the mystery.
So, to summarize, Chapter 7 vividly portrays Dr. Jekyll's advanced physical and psychological decline, culminating in that terrifying, fleeting glimpse of his transformation, or something like a transformation, at the window. While the full truth of his duality remains obscured for now, the incident acts as irrefutable, deeply disturbing evidence to Utterson and Enfield that something profoundly unnatural and horrifying is occurring within Jekyll, something that demands explanation.
Absolutely. And its function within the larger novel is critical. This chapter significantly advances the core conflict by escalating the stakes and solidifying the sense of horror. It pushes Utterson to the very brink of his rational understanding and really sets the stage for his most desperate intervention yet. It shifts the novel from being, a kind of detective mystery into an impending, inevitable catastrophe. The psychological torment of Jekyll, the societal repression, and the terrifying power of the unseen are all brought into chilling focus here. It's a chapter that leaves both characters and readers utterly unsettled, yearning for answers to an unfolding nightmare.
And an impending catastrophe, it certainly feels like. This incident at the window creates such intense anticipation for the next chapter, The Last Night.
Hmm.
We're going to see the breaking point for Jekyll's loyal servant, Poole. Because unlike Utterson and Enfield, who just got that glimpse, Poole has been enduring the unseen horrors emanating from his master's laboratory for far too long. He's been living with a mystery far more intimate and terrifying day in, day out, and his patience, and perhaps his sanity, is about to snap.
Mm-hmm. The pressure cooker is about to explode, and that's where the barriers truly begin to fall. The physical and psychological walls that have guarded Dr. Jekyll's long-kept secrets are about to be violently ripped open, leading to shocking discoveries and the ultimate, terrifying confrontation with Mr. Hyde himself. And it leaves us with a thought, doesn't it? Considering the profound shock that a mere glimpse of Jekyll's transformation evokes in Utterson and Enfield, what does this tell us about the power of the unspoken and the unseen in creating terror? And how does it challenge the Victorian era's rigid insistence on visible order and rationality?
Thank you for joining us on this literary journey. Hit subscribe and share to become part of our AI human collaboration where every listener helps shape future episodes.